Welcome to the Success Revenue Podcast, the only podcast in the Middle East that brings you leaders in customer success, account management, sales, and go to market to share ideas, perspectives, and valuable learnings on how to successfully drive revenue, delight customers, and take it to the next level.
We are your hosts. I'm Ari Al-Sad, CEO of RevCenter, the modern customer management platform. And with me, I have my lovely co-host, Ivy Ferrero, CS executive, keynote speaker, and advisor. And we couldn't be more excited to bring you a long list of amazing guests every week this season. Today's guest is no exception, an expert and a long-standing influencer in the e-commerce space, spanning experiences from marketing, product, and of course, customer success. And during this episode, we'll delve into a lot of really interesting topics, especially surrounding customer success within the e-commerce space. We'll talk about some of the opportunities and challenges of working with multifaceted types of merchants and customers in the e-commerce context, which is really, really interesting. We'll also speak about how some of the key metrics and frameworks that you can use within the e-commerce space can translate to other industries and how they can really fuel your customer success efforts and practices. And lastly, we'll delve into how you can customize your approach to customer success, where you take away a lot of the reactive work and leverage digital CS to do so, and instead having your team focus on proactive approaches and proactive customer success. So really interesting conversation ahead and a really great guest. I'm very excited for this one today and to jump into things. Are you ready to roll here today?
Yes, I am. I'm really excited. We haven't had someone in e-commerce so far in the podcast, so I'm very excited, and I'm also excited to see because our guest today, he has a lot of experience with, of course, working in the GCC and with different regions, and one of the things that comes up through me being new in the Middle East, and I want to take your take on this. Is how there is a difference in cultural in turnaround time. Like I've noticed that there in Dubai there is more of a sense of urgency, and then dealing with like Saudi customers, they do take a little bit of their time. They're a little bit more relaxed. The same. I've experienced the same with Doha and with Bahrain as well. So I wanted to take your take on this. Have you experienced the same in the different regions?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think so. And it's not just in the GCC or in the Middle East, right? As you look at different regions globally, there's definitely a difference between how certain markets and certain kind of countries will culturally drive processes, right? As you know, I work globally, so the US is different from Germany, where it's super efficient, from LATAM and the South American market, and then you come to the Middle East and GCC. I think it's definitely a cultural aspect there, where generally in the region, but also between countries, where some, as you said, are a little bit maybe more laid back or kind of take their time to get through processes, where there's a lot of, inshallah, we'll get here or there. And you have to really help manage that process. I mean, as someone that speaks Arabic, that word comes up all the time, as you know, for us. So, and I think it's super interesting, but I think it kind of puts onus on you, right, as someone that wants to drive the process, to be a little bit more diligent in the way that you kind of formulate next steps, how you align with the buyers or the customers on the other side of things, and how you can help manage that aspect of it. Because if you just leave it, kind of a lot of things will fizzle out. So I think, it creates a lot of urgency on you as a CS or, on the sales side as well. Same thing, salesperson to really kind of manage that process, right? I think that I'm sure you'll agree, Ivy, that's kind of typically you'll see the more junior people that are newer into CS, into sales, or what have you, commercial roles, struggle a little bit with that, whereas the more senior people are better on driving process and next steps and aligning closely with the customer or with the buyer. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like definitely regarding teams that there are definitely teams that should be able to push forward processes and then maintain also equally also maintain the expectations, but also move the customer along the customer journey.
Mm.
Because from my personal experience, if you leave the customer alone to decide when to actually launch or on how on
Yeah.
when to actually move forward, this is right where like success plans come into play, where you can draft out the success plan, put a date on it, and then make sure that you are moving the customers on the customer journey. So I think
Mhm.
that I would agree with you. I feel like teams are their expertise shines a little bit more depending on their own expertise. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And we see it a lot, right? Like with RevCenter, where we have kind of some customers that have incorporated those success plans. And especially when you incorporate kind of the automation on top of the customer journey. So you're automating certain things, whether that's customer touch points or internal kind of task management, activity management, and really making sure that you're moving things along on both sides of the equation, with internally and on the customer side. It just creates so much efficiency because I mean, you know how it is. I'd be like, you're busy in CS. Like I think everyone that's been or is in CS knows it can get super busy, it can get overwhelming sometimes. It's easy to miss and to drive things, but once you manage to do that in a structured way, it just frees up so much time and capacity to be proactive with customers, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. So, okay,
You know?
I think it's time for us to bring our guest out. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get in here. Go ahead.
I am so excited today because we have a very special guest. His name is Gagandeep Singh, and he's a seasoned customer success specialist based in Dubai. He has over a decade of experience in customer success, product management, and digital marketing. His career journey has taken him from law enforcement into cybersecurity and customer success, giving him a unique perspective on client relationships and service delivery. Gangatip, I am so honored that you are here with us. And why don't you kick us off with letting us know where are you from, where are you based, what's your background, and how did you even ended up in customer success?
Yeah, thanks for the sweet introduction, Ivy. Hi there. So,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
great to have you.
I started off my journey back like a decade, uh, and I started from New Delhi, India. Like I graduated from there, and soon after that, since my graduation was in engineering, so I came from a tech background, and I entered the workforce as a web developer in my initial stage. So from
Wow.
that, I transitioned to a sales and marketing specialist because that profile is something which gave me an edge over a back seat, a back end to front end where I could face clients, deal with their day to day difficulties, pick out their pain areas, and work something which gets constructive to them. So that is like the first part from where my journey of customer success begins, the sales and marketing profile which I picked. After that, after that I went to 2, 3 brand manager positions and seasonally transitioned myself into a digital marketing expert over the 5 years. And as soon as that transition happened, I got an edge over other competitors in the market, in the industry, and I launched my own boutique digital media in-house agency. So
Wow.
we were a group of 10, 15 folks working rigorously on digital media campaigns. It was back in 2014, 2015, 16. And at that time, the industry was changing. We could see Instagram was taking a lead over other platforms. There was TikTok in the market coming up, and uh, LinkedIn was evolving from just a business networking to a social engagement platform. So with the help of my past experience in managing sales and marketing, then having an uh, in-depth knowledge of digital marketing, digital assets, brand management, I transitioned to a tech company later on. So that transition was the second full transition because I somehow uh, revamped the digital marketing agency, gave it to my partner. He's running it well, like fully fledged. I have a certain percentage in there as a ESOPs and later on. And after that, my transition to this tech company, especially Commerce Up, it's a e-commerce platform where I learned how the whole scenario of Web 3.0 and customer centric pain areas of selling or starting a business online on the web and the mobile world takes. And at the core of it, uh, the main persistent value which every customer wants from a product company is good customer experience and and the support from a great customer success team. So that's like a, a lengthy discussion on how my transition went. And about 3 years back, I moved to Dubai. I started working with different clients, and most of the commerce of clients are based out of UAE. So that's how I got familiar with the GCC market.
Amazing. And Gantadeep, to piggyback on what you just mentioned, you spoke about customer experience, which is something that is coming up a lot. I wanted to ask you, within the company that you currently work at, is that customer experience something that you guys see as like an overview where like all of the departments basically pitching towards a great customer experience, or is this a department within your company, or who actually owns the customer experience and make sure that the customer experience is the best?
The former one is something that has been dealt with here. We we take inputs from every department, either it's development, either it's testing, either it's business development, sales, marketing, because customer success is paradigm shift now. If you see, people are not approaching new customers as much as they want to retain old customers, because gaining a new customer takes 5x more effort and cost in terms of uh, converting them. Overall, retaining a customer gives you 67% more probability that your sales will go 25% more profits in a quarter. Keeping in mind this scenario, every team member and every department, every vertical that you have plays an important role in aligning your customer success goals. And when I talk about how I made my transition into it, how I lay down the strategy and planning, I take part in every engagement session that happens across teams. Either it's a new feature launch, either it's a support ticket based scenario been working on. Customers are pouring in more support tickets over a certain feature, certain problem. So we need to reduce the recovery time on that, or if there are some back end issues happening, we need to solve them. So, and on the marketing for what sort of communication we are building for the existing customers. Are they happy with the product announcements? Are they happy with the service we are doing? The kind of feedback that we get, are the development team taking in acknowledgement of those feedback and working on those? So all these parameters play an important role. And I don't think a single team separately working on customer success will give a larger impact to the product or the organization, but a more contributed team like we have here and how we dealt with and the strategy and planning we did, that would be more impactful for long.
Mm.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And Gagandeep, it's so cool because I think, you have the combination of a marketing background and understanding, and then coming into customer success and kind of seeing both sides of how to drive brand perception, but also good customer experience and customer success processes, which I think is really cool. And can maybe just touch a little on that journey and that transition to your current role, right? Kind of how the marketing side that you have as you transition some years ago into customer success, how that maybe has helped you or shaped the way that you approach customer success, having that background from marketing. I'm curious to hear more about that.
Yeah, I think my marketing and communication experience in the past, and also coming from a tech background, have like aggregated the whole scenario where I've placed myself, getting to know the pain areas of customers, giving them a product specific feature which not just puts a pressure on the whole product team to build it for all the customers, but make it tailor made for a specific customer need by branching out specific requirements. So I feel like that's another scenario which we've been working on very closely. And marketing has been important experience in the communication part. Helps the customer journey in a smooth way, because onboarding a customer and then transition the customer onboarding journey to have a upselling cycle later on, and then retaining that cycle, and every year after year scaling up the product side and scaling up the customer efficiency which we can deliver, that plays a vital role in this.
Mm. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I really, that's why I kind of wanted to ask about it, because in terms of all my experience, kind of seeing as people make that specific transition, there's just so many benefits to it, from product marketing and into customer success, and then you provide kind of a different perspective into the customer success practice, which is really important. And I'm curious, as you've been in the customer success space now for quite some time, and in the Middle East for several years. Uh, there's been a transition, and there's been evolution of customer success in the Middle East since you came on board and started really digging into customer success. I just mentioned 3-4 years ago, and until today. How do you see that kind of development? How has customer success transitioned in the Middle East, and kind of where do you see it today?
I think it's a very important question that you just asked, because a lot of customer success managers or CSUS executives I meet in different meetups or conferences, they come across this question like, where are we leading to and from where did we start?
Yeah.
Back in 2020, there was pandemic, and at that time we were all clueless what's gonna happen in the next 5 years. And coming down 2025, I think there's been enormous growth across industries with the help of resilience that every sector and industry has kept. And the workforce has evolved itself into a different altogether skill set which it was earlier. I feel like back then we were still confused which metrics to focus on, which process to adapt, and what sort of engagement programs to roll out, so that it reduces the churn rate and it increases the profit to sales margin. So this evolution, I would say, is changing the customer success industry every 6 months and with every product, because you cannot attribute customer success just to one product. Every product has their own journey, their own specification, their own feature, their own customer base with own behavior. So this amalgamation of different scenarios and different attributes need a structure which which can be uh, uh, organized in a way that uh, the different variants of customer success can be clubbed into a book. Right now, if you see in universities or colleges, there are no courses related to customer success, because they are themselves not able to make sure how to put something in a single piece of book, which is like just distributed across all the industries and all different skill set. So, so I feel choosing the right metrics in a right product scenario is the first attribute which any customer success manager should look forward to. And the second thing is uh, how you are evolving your product to the pain areas which the customer is requesting over the past 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Because the surveys plays an important role in this. You have to very subtly give a benefit of uploading a survey to a customer base and how they respond to them. There should be an incentive to it. And once that part is done, then you move your communication to CRM, how CRMs are going well. And when these two balance out, then you come to the churn rate and the profit margins at the end of the quarter, how you're so I think metrics and uh, feedback from customer and hitting the right pain points with your product enhancement, these are the key parameters which I have learned how it's changed over the past 5, 6 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
super interesting.
And Gagandeep, what would you say fascinates you about your current role right now?
I feel talking to a lot of different customers from a lot of different regions, a lot of different industries background is like one thing which makes me learn more about different industries, how they are doing in business. It gives me insights about their business, their demands, their needs, and how they are evolving. Second, I'm a people person. I like talk to a lot of people around my community, around my uh, professional life. So it gives me an edge over to like connect and build strong connections and relations, which plays a vital role in a scenario like today where people are more obligated to balance out work life and they are missing out on the key element like why we are here in the world to build strong relations, make trust upon people so that the next generation which comes here, they get substantial benefit from what we are doing at this rate.
I love that, Gangadeep. I feel like there's definitely some soft skills that all CSM managers or all CS leaders can will definitely thrive in their positions if they have soft skills like being great with people, great listeners, have empathy, and I do feel like people who are in the field of customer success have a very distinct personality. So I think that I would agree with you that this is one of the things that also fascinates me about being in customer success. And Gangadeep, let's talk about commerce app.
Yeah.
So I did my little homework, and it seems like a commerce app serves a diverse business models from single brand stores to multi vendor marketplace. And I wanted to ask you, how does your customer success strategy differ when supporting such variety of different merchant profiles?
Yeah, at the core or at the uh, like the backbone framework of the product, it emphasizes and focuses on e-commerce businesses, how startups or any business, large scale, mid scale enterprise level, can uh, scale their online presence by the web and the application, and both the products, like in our scenario, are aligned to one dashboard. Like there's no separate dashboard for mobile and there's no separate dashboard for web. It's from a common
Oh,
dashboard. So you update and you push the CMS from one dashboard, it'll get automatically updated on both. So for customers, it's a very specific and very small niche where they put a single vendor store to a multi vendors marketplace. Because for us, at the back of the customer success, it's like dealing with the same pain areas because we have one solution which is unified to them. So that's why across teams they make explainer videos, and I also myself go through the user journey at times and make screen recording with my inputs to it so that it's easier for the customer to know how to navigate through such problems at this point and at maybe at some different point of time when I'm not available or team is not available, that video is there to sustain there. So
Yeah.
a lot of
sorry.
FAQs and documentation is essential in customer success, which makes a pivotal role while making a strong CSM team.
I love that. So
Yeah.
is there like a knowledge hub that you guys have for
Yeah,
clients?
yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I think it creates that kind of baseline of the digitalized CS motion as well, right? Where you can kind of help customers get what they need when they need it as well, without necessarily always having to find an individual. And then CSMs can focus more on the proactive side of things, in terms of how to help customers with their main challenges and scaling and so on and so forth. And again, that actually kind of brings me to another part of that, right? Kind of the flip side of what you're saying, which is if you're kind of providing a lot of good resources for customers to kind of get access to, maybe solve some of the quote unquote simpler things or things that they can kind of do with an FAQ, a video, and so on and so forth. That's awesome, and that should free up your team, I'm sure, to do a little bit more proactive work, which is really what they should be focusing on. So, um, you know, as you've overseen, kind of the customer growth aspect as well, right? And obviously being cloud-based e-commerce platform that you guys are, do you kind of often have conversations with the merchants or your customers about kind of scaling challenges that they might have, and some of the ways that they can kind of drive the actual outcomes that they're looking for through what you guys are doing? Are you having those proactive kind of growth type conversations? And what some of the common challenges that you see your customers have? How do you help them kind of solve for those? Is it through interaction? Is it resources, conversations? I'm kind of curious how you guys approach that aspect of it from a proactive perspective.
I would say I would start with the challenges that we face as a customer success team. So, uh, the first challenge is like working in a region like GCC, uh, where there's diversified culture, diversified people. So
Yeah.
language barrier is the one thing which we overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So taking uh, care of different uh, ethnicity, how the culture wants different outcome of the product, how certain specifications need to be laid out. Uh, I remember there was one big product which we came out of our portfolio for a specific customer need. So the BRD itself took like 1 year course of a lot of to and for transitions, different languages, different stakeholders, and split across different regions of GCC. So it was a multinational project, but the kind of thing we were executing required an in-depth understanding of the product, coming out with specific features so that it is viable to their user base, and their user base is also split across different regions. So it's like going across different verticals, and then they are also branched out. So
Right.
it's like
It's
it's
complex
like
setup. Yeah.
yeah, it's like solving a Rubik's cube in like 1 hour, and the kid is like, "Oh, what is this?" and
Yeah.
and and like yeah, that experience was pretty fun, and it went well, and the project went well. That's like the core challenge I would say that we at times face.
Yeah.
Second challenge that customer success teams face across the globe, which is like uh, initially it was normalized, but with time it's been taken into a lot serious consideration, is that the turnaround time. People used to think 3 to 5 days, 2 days, 72 hours, or at least a week time is fine when it
Yes.
comes to certain business needs. But think from a business perspective. The customer is looking for an enhancement or a quick resolution to some pain area, which may gonna impact him certain figures in like 3 figures, 5 figures, 7 figures in loss due to that thing which is not happening. And if you are able to fulfill that as soon as possible, like there's a there's a rapid action in the customer success priority list. We give P0, P1, P2, P3 priorities to different tasks depending on what sort of user base, it's gonna hurt, but cause of user behavior, it's gonna transition for that particular brand, and how smoothly we can make the turnaround time
Mm.
as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So this is like the second challenge which teams face. And after that, there are different challenges, I would say, which are restrained to product specification, like a product operates in a certain way. And when it comes to scaling, like you said, a lot of customers think scaling is just for them. But if we talk about a certain product, the product is not a service for a particular customer.
Yeah.
It is itself for a larger group of businesses. So any sort of scaling that we have to do, we always consider and put this thought in mind. It, another feature update on this thing should be applicable and useful for all the customer in that domain. So
Yeah.
that's one specific point which we like closely monitor and we closely emphasize on, because whatever the upselling cost for that feature or enhancement cost goes to the product, it should be split across the clients.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't, like, one customer shouldn't bear the pain of a product enhancement like
Right.
that. A lot of product companies are have started considering this. If you see in the past
Mm.
2.5 years,
Yeah.
that's been happening. And after that, if we see still customers are complaining about certain things which are not taken care of, so they should figure out there's a life cycle of a product. Either that product evolves or the customer also need to evolve their needs and understand the market better. You can't say reaching out to your customer or user base is one thing. There are multiple ways to approach a certain pain point. So you can't just 100% rely on the product capabilities for that. There need to be a stronger marketing communication, different tactics, different customer team or customer service team at the business side, which can take care of certain demands rather than uh, pressurizing the product to automate everything.
Mm.
I hope you
Yeah.
get what I mean to say.
Yeah. Yeah. For
That
sure.
Yeah.
that's like that's like a very tricky thing to manage in a product role, but being in customer success, that's how you need to navigate certain pain points which customers throw at you. Because at the end of the day, customer wants every small change to happen in the next update.
Yeah.
But we have to quantify that these X number of changes gonna impact all our customers and the industry which they are into, or we have to subside them and take them in different iterations at times.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And I think that's where the kind of the product background and market background kind of comes into play, right? I think from a traditional CS perspective or sales, if you take that side of the business, you kind
Yeah,
of want things to happen
product
quickly
and
and right away. Like, well, the customers need this, let's do it. But there's always a wider consideration. And, I see this all the time as well, just, running a business myself. And, you have the different teams with their different needs and,
yeah,
and requests. And you kind of have to find ways to align all those together. So yeah, that's definitely a well taken point. And yeah, I can imagine, you guys have customers in these different markets, these different regions, that challenge of kind of tailoring to different languages, different cultures, leveraging CS technology or systems that can support that in a proper way. Those are really important things for that efficiency that you're looking for. And just a kind of quick question on that: do you guys have, is the CS team kind of centralized, and then you serve the different markets? Have you kind of split it out so you have different CSMs for different GCC markets, Saudi, UAE, whatever those markets are, or kind of the central team that works together? I was kind of curious, high level on that, how you approach the setup.
yeah, yeah. So at the core, we have like one unified team,
Mm.
but if we look at the divisions, they are bifurcated on like uh, industry, domain, and region as well.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
how we split the team. Because every CSM manager can't tackle every industry or every niche in of business. They are specialized in certain niche. That's why they cater to certain requirements. Because if it's a unified, like then we'll be a call support system.
Right, right.
that's that's what distinguishes us from a
Hmm.
normal call support system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, Gangadeep, let's go back to talking about metrics. I'd love to hear your take on what sort of metrics or frameworks do you use to measure customer success in the e-commerce platform space, and how have these evolved during your tenure?
So a lot of metrics uh, take part into action when there are high level discussions at the stakeholder part, and the businesses are not turning out good. So to minimalize to minimalize that risk of uh, putting metrics into an equitable state where every matrix is defining certain outcome, and that certain outcome is depend on an input and a variable. So that's how in the CSM strategy, I myself have laid down certain metrics for my customers. So the input is basically driven by the product specifications that we get, and the variable is basically the enhancements or the specifications, or uh, the go to live timeline, go to market strategy is aligned with that particular release. So, so for me, the churn rate is a very like significant metrics which we closely monitor on client every client's every quarter or like monthly basis, so that what sort of support tickets were there, what sort of requests were there, what sort of surveys were done, and what sort of uh, outcome or progress we have made to that specific area which was given to us. Because the higher the churn rate for a specific requirement, that's how the product's gonna fall back from the competitors. So just to be ahead of our competitors, or just to be in line with the business needs, churn rate is something that we monitor a lot. Then moving on to next metrics is the product success rate or the customer success rate. They both are aligned to me, like directly proportionate to each other. Like what a different CSM managers may define it different, but for me they are both directly proportionate to each other. Because product and the success rate is basically aligned with what sort of business and what sort of technology we are advancing. So if a business need demands something which is putting an impact on a bigger size of user base, then the product enhancement need to work on it at a faster rate. Like
Got it.
we have to be ahead of the queries which are will coming in future. But if a business demand or a business need is very limited to a certain specific user base, like a very small user base, but essential to that small criteria as well, then the success rate for like implementing that is uh I won't say exponential, but incremental in a very certain way. We can define it phase wise and launch it phase wise, because we have to consider it, since the user base is large and business needs specific to that larger user base will incur less cost to every customer. But if the user base is small and the customers who are demanding it are large, so that will also be like a reverse effect. Like they have to pay more for a smaller piece of upgrade, while large people of users are asking for an upgrade where the user base is bigger, then they have to pay less for that small enhancement.
Very interesting. And let's now talk about a topic that obviously is coming up a lot, which is AI. I'd love to learn a little bit more when it comes down to AI. and AI becoming more prevalent in e-commerce, how are you seeing merchants use AI capabilities to enhance their customer experience, or how are you guys thinking of using AI to enhance the customer experience?
I think in customer success journey, the AI was primitively there, but not characterized as AI. It was more as automation.
Yeah,
So automation cycles were already there, which were like run on predefined parameters, predefined attributes, and how the outcome can be. Like a lot of our help desk, I would say, help desk applications, a lot of our ticketing support applications. So these are already going on the basis of automation and how the scripting can be done and how the outcome can be laid off when there's no actual person talking to a customer. And since now AI is in place, even the demand for those had reduced on the customer success teams by a customer. The customer is intelligent enough to put up a query on the AI tool, see what all different apps are replicating that problem with their solution. And then the customers come up with like, I have these four options. Which one would you recommend as like you are specialist in? So it reduces the turnaround time for us because now the customer is more intelligent. We don't have to we don't have to explain and make the customer in a comfort zone where he understand like this is the scenario and this will be the outcome. So AI
that's
is
great.
helping both the ends, like the customer end on the e-commerce part. A lot of merchants are able to learn how to make their own backend data better, how to manage the data.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I think kind of the perspective that you have on these topics are so relevant, and the e-commerce space is also such a big one. So I think you kind of learn a lot of it because it's technical. They have a lot of different types of customers, and the processes that you need to create in CS are really complex. So yeah, just super interesting to listen to that. But I got it. So we're coming to kind of our final section that we usually do with our guests on the pod here. And I really like the section. What we kind of typically do here is we'll ask you some quick hitters, quick questions, and get quick answers from you. I have a few that I always like to ask our guests. Ivy has a couple that she loves to ask. So if you're ready for a Gagandeep, we'll go through and spit out a couple quick questions here for you and see what you got for us.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a rapid fire.
Rapid fire for sure. Yep.
Yeah,
Uh, awesome, awesome.
yeah.
Let's do it. All right. So we'll start us off pretty easy here. So I'm curious, what's your favorite content to consume? Favorite book, podcast, what type, what specific ones you'd recommend?
I recommend in my early agency days, I was like glued to my YouTube for Gary Vee. I don't know why,
Mm,
but
mhm.
the kind of confidence that guy gives to you
Yeah,
is like humongous.
yeah.
So that was the time where I started listening to a lot of podcasts,
Mhm.
and after that, uh, there were a few Jay Shetty and other like seasonal podcasts. And but not restricting myself to any one person podcast right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah,
But a lot of because a lot of different domains are there, so like every
for sure.
domain holds different timeline. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
I'm a huge fan of Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great recommendation. Kind of maybe leads me to my next question here for you, Gangandeep, which is if you have any favorite people to follow or take inspiration from that you'd recommend. I assume we got an answer down already, but anyone else you'd want to mention?
Yeah. Yeah. Apart from that, I would say uh like I've been rigorously following Mark Zuckerberg since my college days.
Mm,
Uh the reason, he's a very subtle person with his uh, expression of speech and everything, but his mind is loud as hell.
yeah,
So
all right,
yeah, so his thought process, his evolution to different meta, everything, that
mm,
is something that that intrigues me, like how like a platform like Facebook back in 2008 from a community building website has like evolved to such a big thing in the market. So
Yeah.
that keeps me keeps me motivated and boosted. Like, what else can we do for like user behavior? Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Love
that
that.
makes sense. Love that. Awesome. And then my last question to you here is if you can kind of pick one thing, high level, what's your kind of favorite prediction for 2025 here as we're kind of kicking off the year?
It's a hard truth, but everyone has to learn. AI is helping us to evolve better,
Mm.
and we are helping AI to evolve at like much
Yeah.
Mm,
more speed. So AI will be our assistant. It won't overtake the job, but it would assist every industry, every workforce, as if everyone has got their own personal assistant.
Yeah.
So it's a game changer for 2025. You should
yeah,
adapt to products, courses, whatever is available online, and consume as much as content for AI in your particular niche. That would be the best.
I love that.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
I love
Uh,
that.
awesome.
All right. So here goes my last two questions.
Yeah,
Gangatib, what is one life philosophy you like to live by?
that's a question that comes from the core. One life philosophy is take one day at a time. You would be blessed
Mm,
for the rest of your life. Like, don't pressurize yourself. There are enormous things going on at workplace, at customer level. At the end, every customer gonna understand how the technology is evolving and how the CSM is not working for anybody else but the customer first.
I love that. And Gangatip, lastly, when you're not at work, what are you up to on the weekends? And if people are trying to connect with you, where is the best place to find you?
I guess LinkedIn is the best place to approach me because I'm not as much active on other platforms like LinkedIn followed by Instagram, but Instagram is still quite the just photo related. And LinkedIn is something where I reach out to different people on personal level, interact with them, consult them on different projects, help them evolve their businesses if they are stuck on something. And yeah, and that's like the best thing.
Amazing. And on the weekends, what are you up to?
On the weekends, either I am enjoying time with my family, my wife, um,
Nice.
and I'm expecting a child soon, so that's like
Oh,
the next thing,
congrats.
big thing. Thank you,
Oh,
Uh,
congratulations.
amazing.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank
that's awesome.
you. Yeah,
Awesome. All right. Well, again,
Amazing. Gagat.
yeah.
No, sorry.
That's great. I'm going to say congrats again to
yeah,
expecting here, and it will be a fun experience, long nights, all that good stuff that you'll have in the beginning. But it's certainly something great, from two other parents here sitting on across from you. So awesome! It's been such a pleasure having you on today, Gagandeep. A really insightful conversation. I learned a lot from it, and thank you so much for spending some time here with us.
I think it was a great experience interacting with you guys, getting to know and expressing my thoughts, which keep on bundling up, and it's better. The more you share, the better the world becomes. I think
I
that's
love
that's
that.
so good. So grateful to have you guys with me. I feel like really good, and the time we had it was awesome, amazing.
Thank you, Gangatip. Soon we'll have you again on the podcast.
Sure, sure. I'm always open for it. Even if you want me as a co-host or something like that, I would be
If
great to
hater
do
is
that.
ever sick.
I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
yeah, yeah.
Too.
I can fill in if somebody is not there.
Love it. Love it.
Amazing.
Awesome, Gagandeep.
All
Thanks
right,
Yeah,
so
guys.
much.
and new podcast also, like that's a great start to talk about any niche which is related to my. uh, I would be great to express my thoughts.
So
Amazing.
much.
Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Gangatip. We want to thank our sponsors for supporting the Sussex Revenue podcast. RevSetter is the #1 customer success and management platform in the Middle East region offering global capabilities mixed with regional solutions that helps your CS, account management, and go-to-market teams 10x efficiency, improve customer experience, and turbocharge customer retention rates.
And thank you to Medlify, a leading marketplace. Workers and employers in the healthcare space needs and demands meet to create benefits for both sides. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.